Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Plasma and I like octopuses, octopi, octopodes, octopeople. Today we're going to make an 11 by 11 easy for you. Mistakes are very time consuming with big ones, so try and pay close attention if you can. Make sure you get your repeater ticks right. If you have trouble, build it in a creative world first. This one is getting more expensive to build simply because it's bigger. Shouldn't be too much of a problem in survival if you have the honey and slime blocks, but you'll want to make sure you have the nether quartz to make these, what do you call them, observers. So let's go ahead and I will show you how to demonstrate it. Just pay close attention and bear in mind you don't want to put the top on until you know that's basically working, because a little hiccup can really make it a pain to fix. But it's fairly easy if you follow along and you pay close attention. Let's get started. So we'll start with a piston elevator, and then we're going to add a tail on it like so. This tail is going to be 5 blocks, 2 and then 3, and it's going to give us the ability to place a bunch of blocks on those 2 pistons. Let's take a closer look. So right here, we have these. You might recognize them from our 6 piston movers. These are just going to move 4 of each. And on top of those, we're going to place a slime block, and it will make almost a little octopus. We're going to have 8 arms on it. And to make it less confusing, you will notice that it's actually only 4 pieces, and then you rotate them and put them down again. So what we're going to have is, on either side, we're going to have 2 of these. This allows us to move 3 at a time in a row without having issues being pressed up against the top. The reason why the pistons are going to have to be all the way up against the top and we can't have a gap is because we're going to need to do 6 blocks now. In order to move 12 blocks, moving 6 blocks on top of this, we don't have any more blocks that we can use. That's why we're running out on this video after 12 by 12, after running out on this video series. So we have these right here on as well. And then on the front and back, and you can mirror these instead of rotating it if you'd like, but you're going to have another one, and this is going to reach out 2 blocks. And the reason is so that you can fit these just barely without them touching. And so it'll be right in front, these 2, and you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so that will allow us to hit every single one all the way across, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So because it's 11, we're going to have 5 on this half. And we're going to need to add padding so that each one is 7, so that it adds up to 12, so that we don't have any problems grabbing it and stopping it on the sides. So what we're going to do in order to fit these in is we're going to put them across the front, except for we don't want to have any up against here. So we're going to move these back 1, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. And then on these, they're actually going to fit into these slots right here and fit right where I'm standing, so that we don't touch anything with a honey block, and that'll allow us to not have any problems because honey and slime don't interact. And you can do that on either side. Now there's not a lot of room on top of these because we don't want to touch these slime blocks, and so in order to fit these 2 padding blocks, they've got to be put right here, just on the end of these. And other than that, that's all there is to it. And you'll be able to build an 11 by 11. I have the parts of what you need down below. Let's start off with our piston elevator, like so. And we are going to add that tail to it, like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. We will put a observer on it, and we will start to build up from there. These are going to be our little 6 piston pushers, but we're only going to have 4 on each. And those are going to go 2 on this and 2 on this. 2 here and 2 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can already see that octopus shape I was talking about. So this is going to lead out 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We'll do these first because they're easier. We're going to put 1, 2, 3. We're going to put this here. We're going to put this here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to put 2 blocks out on this one and 1 block out on this one. And what we're going to do is fit them in very tightly like so. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. And I like to do it this way. You could mirror it, but I like to do it this way with these because they line up really well with the front of it. It becomes easier to do the bottom trigger, in my opinion. As long as you're firing your pistons at the right time, as long as they cover each of the slime blocks on top, it's actually fairly flexible what you can do. And now you're done. So let's go ahead and put slime blocks on top of it, just to show you what it would look like. And you're going to want 5 blocks so they reach backward like so. And we're going to want to pad it to 7, so that adds up to 12 blocks. And we'll do the same with the next one. You would do the same on the next one, but it'll touch here. We don't want to touch there. So you put them here. And then right here, we're going to put 2 blocks here where they don't touch anything. You'll do the same thing on the other side, actually, like this. Makes sense? And these are the tricky ones because there's almost nowhere to put them where they don't touch other slime blocks. But you can put them like this. That will work. We'll do the same thing on the other side. We'll do the same thing in the middle, just because. There you go. And now we'll do the same as we did on the far end for this one. We'll just come down to and we are almost ready to test it. The beautiful thing about actually figuring out how to use 6 blocks like this is all you have to do is go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is your 12 blocks total. You don't have to pad these or anything. All right, are you ready to test it? Let's get out a button. Like so. I like to use a button. There's a number of things you can use. And I'm going to prime the top ones. And this is easier to do when you have redstone dust than it is to do when you have to do it this way. And if you did it right, you should have all of them up. Does that look up to you? Looks up to me. Now on your second layer, it's just going to be these 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then your third tier, the tail, is going to be that one. And now, if we did it right, we should be able to hit a button and make it go. So let's put a stopper up here so we can stop it. And we want to touch each of them. And I like to put extra on just in case I miscounted. There we go. So that'll do it. And if you've been following along, you've created an 11 by 11. Now we're going to put the top on and the bottom on, and I will show you how that works. Okay, so to build the bottom trigger, you're going to need to be very careful. This is arguably the trickiest part of this. And you're going to need to pay very close attention because any mistakes can be very expensive to fix, very time consuming, we'll say. Because you might even have to rebuild the whole thing if you make big enough mistakes. But if you're watching, I think if you're paying attention, I'm going to not make any mistakes so that you know what to do. And I'll even show you some things to help you. So we're going to put this on here, and the reason we're going to do it is because we don't want these blocks right here. We don't want to have anything here inside the elevator because the elevator is going to need to move up through here. So we're just going to just touch those. And so when we do that, we're going to need to have a single tick delay before we interact with any of the others. Now, I'm not going to worry about the state this leaves those in up there. We're going to fix that later. Just go ahead and put your redstone dust down. And don't worry about the noises it's making. And then we're going to actually get these 2 like so. And then we will come around and we will get these as well. There's those. And it's not too bad. Attach here, and we're going to make sure we reach those. What we want to do is we want to put 1 tick down because we're going to count for this delay so that they all fire at the same time. So we're going to put these here like this. Now are you ready for the neat little trick that allows you to be able to fix them? So the neat little trick is to use a button on the piston that breaks off. So I'm going to put a repeater right here. there we go. Put a repeater right here like this. So now, watch this. Before we hit the button and test it, let's make sure it's in a good state. So we have some of these that are up. So these two are up. If I put a piston, or if I put a button on them, the button will break off when the piston fires. And that results in it only firing once and getting rid of the button. I have tile drops off so the button doesn't drop because we're in creative. But normally the button would just fall down. And so we can pull this one down, 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 and then there's this one. Look at that. Isn't that easy? So now we're ready to test it. So what should happen is it should, this doesn't matter, we just wanted to extend it. It's going to trigger these, and after one tick, it's going to push those up, and then we're going to wait a tick, and then we're going to do all the others. These. Okay. Up, down. Up, all of them, down, all of them. Good? Good. So next we got to do tier 2. So tier 2 is these 4. And these are actually very easy to do because they are all close together, and you can actually trigger a piston like so by aiming at the block above it, because pistons kind of think they're a block higher than they really are. It's a very unique thing in Minecraft, and it can cause a lot of problems, but sometimes it's very helpful. And this is probably why it hasn't been patched. So there you go. So now that should do those, and then these. And so now you should have layer 1, layer 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. And now if we push the button again, it should go up and grab them. And it did. So let's do the third layer. The third layer is this one right here. And you'll notice it's fine to touch because it has too many blocks to push. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down. Let's go down like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it will go across like so. Sit down. And so, well, how long do we need to wait for this one? Well, we waited 3 ticks for tier 2. And this isn't going through these repeaters, so we need to wait 3 ticks here as well. And now, for this one, we need to wait another 3 ticks. And so we got 6 ticks. And then if we follow from this one, we won't have to lay all those down again. And on the final push, we want to wait 3 more ticks. I'll put it right here just for ease of seeing it. And so that's going to wait 3 more ticks and then lift off. You think it works? Let's try it. It works. Now you've got a working 11 by 11 trigger on the bottom. Let's go ahead and add the top portion. So here's what you need to build the top. I went ahead and put a design on the top of it. And what you're going to do is you're just going to run across this. So what I am doing this time is I'm actually going to show you a way to hide it in your elevator shaft if you don't want the hole here to be visible with a piston. So what you can do is you can just touch it when the redstone turns on and off with a piston like so. And by putting an observer like this, this will just touch it and you can hide it and have some lights like this. They will be hidden behind your wall. So let's say, for example, we had a wall like this. We can make it look unassuming like so. And this is how I do it in my video. Oh, intros. And so it'll just poke inside on one of the lights because one of the lights is actually the trigger mechanism. And so this is how you would hide it. This would be your shaft all the way up and down. You just don't want to touch this one till you're ready to go because we're going to go. All right, so let's go ahead and build the top as we would. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab these with some pistons. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. we're going to, remember, you can use any block you want for your redstone, however you want to label it. I like to use something different every time, just so that you understand that. All right, and we're going to wrap around this way. Missed a spot. Like that. We're just going to let go and then tell it to go down. And these, if we did it correctly, will stop it when it needs to stop on the way up, so that we have a pretty upper level. This will enable you to use any block you want on the top side. You're stuck using obsidian and terracotta on the bottom because you need to hide it, unless you wanted to use some pistons to do something really fancy. But we're going to, let me go ahead and wrap this. So this is just our decor around the top of the, so this would be your upper floor. This would be hiding your machinery. I could do a bunch more, but I'm not going to. And so you can see these corners are actually the corners of the 11 by 11. So let's go ahead and finish this up. Because by now you should be getting the general idea. And then I will show you the timings on the repeaters to make sure we get it at the right speed. Now remember, the 4-tier bigger machines are going to need a little bit more time. So it actually is cool to make it wait on pulling these back. So we can pull them back like so. We need to be 1 block over so that we don't touch anything. See, we'd be touching the slime blocks. So you always come over 2 blocks. So you can actually wait a considerable amount of time. I'm going to wait 8 ticks on that. We're going to do the same thing over here, actually. This is going to be it. Should do it once we connect this to the bottom one. So we're going to have just a single tick because it's going to be running out of time. See, this is a long stretch of redstone. So let's say I wanted to do it like this. And then would it touch here? Yes, it would, so we can't do it like that. What we'll do is we will come down like this. Like so. And we just do it 1 tick. I'll do it real fast. And uh-oh. Well, don't say anything. See, that would have triggered it. There, that's better. And then there you go. And so you don't have to have those, obviously. You can do whatever you want for your elevator shaft. This is just an example of what it would look like. You use obsidian. I recommend terracotta because it's prettier and far easier to get in large quantities. And so this is going to trigger as soon as we can from this button. And we can lead this up to the top if we like. Do you want to do that? We'll do that. By now you should have a good idea how to move your redstone dust around. But let's say you're new to this. We can put a button anywhere we want up here. It just needs to power this redstone. And then that should do it. So we're going to wait on this because from the time that we fire this, it's going to start moving this and then moving this and then moving this, and then we're going to need to pull these back. So if we pull these back too early, it'll push them back in and we won't be done yet. And so it'll act up. You think it works? Let's test it. It works. All right. Hope you found that enjoyable. Hope that comes helpful in the future. We're going to do other sizes of elevators after we get done with the big one, so stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't. Share with your friends because we're starting out new on this channel. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.